Alrighty, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday Hide Show. My name's Phil Stephanie, and thank you so much for all of you, or to all of you, for joining us here on the Africam website. Yeah, and for the next half an hour, we'll do what we've been doing and watch the cameras, see what's happening. If you have any questions, there's a little question box under the viewer. As usual, it's always really nice to have your input and get involved while we're here. If you have any questions with regards to what we're seeing, please fire away. Decided to we start here at Cat Eye. And there were some elephants. I think there is still a little bit of the backside of an elephant left. But I think we may have gone across to Tembe. That's okay. We'll come back there if we get another chance, because Tembe is also looking beautiful. Luckily, we've got lots of cameras to choose from. Beautiful, beautiful afternoon all over the place. Not much rain forecast. Slowly but surely, I think we're coming to the end of the rainy season. It's been a good one, though, that's for sure. If we're looking at Tembe, you see all of that water. It's going to be really quite interesting to see how long that lasts. Not like anything else. Take it while you've got it, appreciate it. Lots of food around, and I think those impalas are doing exactly that. Beautiful afternoon at Tembe. Those of you that watched the show yesterday, I think we've got a better idea of the maps and where the cameras are. So Tembe's all the way across on the east coast. So some of you may have been here. Those of you that haven't, it's a really warm tropical place. Even in the middle of winter, it's pretty warm. And so these animals are enjoying, I think, the concept of a slightly cooler day. Beautiful big waterbuck on the right, also just feeding away on the nice green shoots. I'm sure we'll get a wider angle. We'll send the message across to those wonderful Zoomies we spoke about, everyone in the team of Africam making the concept possible. And again, from yesterday's show, it's quite interesting, I'm sure, to see where the cameras are and that they're in the middle of nowhere, and that we can actually sit all around the world and watch these incredible bits of footage, wild footage. But we do have a great team on the ground at Africam. As usual, I introduced you to Max yesterday. He's there. We've got Anton and Ryan. They're all part of the production team. So now those of you that watched the show yesterday, and we'll rerun it next week again, for those that missed it, hopefully you have a clearer view and of how these cameras work and how Africam ticks. There we go. Here's our wider view of Tembe. Yeah, let's have a look around. There has been some really good elephant activity over the last couple of days. Doesn't look like anybody's home at the moment. We'll have a look around here for a bit, and otherwise let's see if we can get ourselves back to Cat Eye. Seems to be coming up and down. And as we saw yesterday, some pictures of the lightning strike. is a good example of some of the impacts we have, but that's okay. We've got lots to choose from. We'll definitely be coming backwards and forwards. But maybe let's take a look at some of the highlight videos that we've managed to collect over the last couple of days. I always go through the highlight videos, and I must say it is really quite wonderful to watch and see the things that we've missed. So here recently at Quapan, some of you might have seen it live, but we haven't seen leopard for a while. So I'd like to take a look at this beautiful image of a young leopard that came down for a drink 2 or 3 nights ago. Just look at that. Absolutely perfect view. And it's going to be quite interesting to see as things start to dry out whether we get more and more cat activity. There was a question not too long ago, when is the best time to see cats? Well, one of the answers is at night, like this leopard. And as things dry out, I'm really going to watch this camera closely to see if this beautiful animal comes down on a more regular basis. What a perfect view. Just have a look at that long, thin tail. What's quite interesting about a leopard is they do have, out of all of the big predators, the longest tail. At the base of its body, it's really powerful and quite a solid feel. And as it goes to the back, it becomes quite nimble, very, very flexible. And that helps leopards when they're climbing trees. I've actually seen young leopards hunting squirrels in trees as well as vervet monkeys. So you can imagine the level of skill it takes for a big predator like this. Now, a big leopard weighs somewhere in the region of between 70 and 80 kgs, somewhere around the 100-pound mark. So pretty heavy animal. And to be nimble enough to catch something like a primate or a squirrel, you have to be very, very well equipped with some smart tools. And one of them is that long tail. The other thing, of course, is the big, powerful paws that have very sharp claws digging into the tree, and they can jump around quite easily. And what an amazing view of one of the most incredible animals out there. Look at that spot pattern, absolutely clear along its throat, down its neck, and there's also very clear spots on its, I guess, its cheek next to its eye. That's how one would identify individual leopards. So if we do see this one again and we get such a lovely view, it's always good to try and remember or even draw the spot pattern. See if it's the same one. This one looks very well fed, superb condition. And that's it. Beautiful. Let's see if we can find another highlight video. There was a wonderful shot of a giraffe that came down to Naledi. Beautiful dark male. There we go. Just look how dark that is. So going from those perfect spots and spot pattern of that leopard, here's another beautiful animal that carries a different pattern really well. Again, in superb condition. You can see that the trees are still nice and green around Naledi. So plenty to eat, and I'm pretty sure that the food will last throughout winter. There's an oxpecker on the ground. I'm sure it'll jump on the giraffe anytime soon. There's two actually. You see how that oxpecker's got its wings open on the ground and dust bathing. See how it keeps its wings open? Really quite interesting that it's not just dust bathing, it's also anting. Those of you that are interested in birds and follow the birding world, you would have heard of a thing called anting. And that was a really good example, although a little bit far away. But as a bird dust baths and opens its wings like that and flattens on the grounds, it's actually trying to get ants to climb onto its back. And then when it closes its wings, the ants obviously get a little bit squashed, a little bit irritated, understandably so. And they release a formalin that helps repel ectoparasites. I've actually seen a Marshall eagle doing that, as you can imagine. It's a huge wingspan. We were on a walking safari and it was lying flat on the ground. Just look at this giraffe coming right past the camera. It's a warthog in the background. Those of you that remember the photograph of Naledi and where the camera is, it's perfectly positioned to get these kind of views of giraffe in particular. Beautiful sky in the background. So dark, almost black. He's just having a good look around. We've often spoken about the concept that for giraffe, visual is the most important thing, and that's what they do. They'll often walk, stop, have a good look around wherever, and they're predominantly looking for other giraffe. It's not that they're only looking for predators, but they'll always have a good look. In fact, the way that he's looking, just going on yesterday's theme of giving you an idea and orientation, he's looking directly at Cat-Eye Pan. Now, there were some elephants at Cat-Eye Pan. I think the camera itself is giving us a bit of trouble, but that giraffe is looking directly at them. So who knows, maybe those elephants could come to Naledi. We'll keep an eye out for that. Okay, so that was a wonderful view of a giraffe, leopard as well. Let's see if we can get ourselves onto Cat-Eye Pan. I don't know if it's working yet. I do have another great little video clip taken not too long ago, but I just want to have a look in case those elephants are still around. Again, there's no rush. It looks like the camera could be working, but of course the elephants have disappeared. But we'll have a look around now that we're here. I love the angle of Cat-Eye. Maybe they haven't gone too far. And just remember, so that giraffe is probably about maybe half a mile away from Cat-Eye. So it could be coming this way. As we pan around, I'd like to have a listen as well to the sounds. It sounds like there's some birds. Let's have a listen while we look and see if there's anything left of those elephants. Seems to be a bit of a breeze here at Cat-Eye. Yes, starlings in the background. to view there, having a bit of a sparring match or maybe a bit of a greeting. It actually looks like there is a bit of rain in the clouds there. I think I saw some lightning earlier. There's certainly some dark clouds. But there's a perfect view of one of the elephants. You can see that the sun has been blocked by the clouds. I'm pretty sure that's why the cameras are going up and down here at Cat Eye. That storm must be causing a bit of havoc. Let's hope it doesn't have a direct strike again. The lightning can be quite intense when these storms do start. I think it's localized rain. It's having a little feed. Lots to choose from. There's still lots of good grass around. As the grasses dry up and disappear through the winter months, they'll start to feed a lot more on leaves as well as roots. Lovely to chew on a couple of roots, nice and juicy and very sweet, as well as the bark of a lot of trees. There's a third elephant, another big bull. Maybe it's going to come up to the waterhole. Oh, and a fourth. Brilliant. Here they come. Ah, well worth waiting for. You're going to come right up to the camera. Perfect. Not for long, though. Seem to be on the move. Wonderful. Look at that silhouette. Nice against the beautiful sky. There goes a bit of lightning. You can actually see the rain falling out the clouds. They're stopping for a snack. And just like that, they've moved on. It's quite interesting. They're heading in the way of Naledi, where the giraffe was. We'll keep an eye on that. Maybe they'll pop up there. Oh no, there we go. There's some more coming out the woodworks there. It's always great elephant activity between Cat Eye and Naledi. This area is very good for elephants. The Olifants River, actually, although it's nowhere near our camera, but the river itself is not too far from this view to the right. It's probably about 5 kilometers, maybe 3 miles, 3 or 4 miles, 5 or 6 kilometers. You can see these elephants are moving quite quickly. They're not relaxed as sometimes we see them quite relaxed and just feeding away. And I think that has to do with the wind. So I have said it a couple of times, but the wind is something that's probably one of the worst elements, or has the biggest impact on all wildlife. I'd say they just don't enjoy it that much. The fact that the sound gets distorted, the scent passes by really quickly, And a lot of these animals rely so heavily on the sense of smell and the sense of hearing that can be a little bit worrying or disconcerting. And when it gets really windy and really stormy, you find animals will go and hide in thickets. So where those elephants are going are in the direction of Naledi, but there's also quite a deep drainage line, a dry riverbed. That'll also be a good place for them to take a bit of cover. J.S. Ward, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for your suggestion of having a chat bar. But you don't disturb me at all. I have a clear view of any of the questions that you have, so you can chat away there. But that's a great idea. We'll see what we can do, as we are quite keen on bettering the concept. Okay, so those elephants have moved on. No rush, Suki, at all, and you definitely won't get punished for being late. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope all is well. Jenny, you say here, yeah, interesting question, or that you're saying that elephants hear through their feet. And do I think that hippos can do the same? It hasn't. So the elephants, just to clarify there, that elephants feel vibrations through their feet. That's the idea at the moment. And it is a really good concept, and I think it's really well understood and relatively well researched. There's always research going on about especially elephants' general communication ability. But if you take the foot of an elephant, I think there were some elephants at a different camera. Let's see if we can actually see that. Maybe, I think there were some at Tau, but we'll keep a lookout. But if we look at an elephant's foot, it's got a very large, obviously the pad is very large and round. Then the bone structure, let's take it from the shin, goes down. The feet actually point straight down, a bit like he's walking on his tippy toes. And then there's a big section, the heel and the ball of the foot, that form this sponge-like shoe, if you like. And if we do get another view, which we might do, you'll see that quite clearly. And that's a really moist environment. It's cartilagey, almost, I wouldn't say jelly-like, but just as a mental picture. And it is filled with thousands, if not millions, of different nerve endings. So I've often said that, elephants don't just blunder through rocklands or through, if they get a thorn in their foot, they'll need to pull it out. So they're really sensitive. And it's through that lovely, moist, what looks probably soccer ball size receptor is how they feel the vibrations. And if you just understand the concept that on average, elephants, I'm talking males, females, on average, we're looking at 5 tons. And if you've got an average family herd of about 10 to 15 and they start moving quickly towards water, you can imagine the amount of vibration a big group of elephants cause. So that sound or that vibration is what they pick up from a really long way away. Whether hippos can do the same, I wouldn't have thought so. I don't think anyone's actually done any deep studies on them. But if I look at the foot structure of a hippo, I do think that they're quite sensitive, and I reckon that they probably could feel vibrations that are relatively close by. But in terms of using that as a communication tool, I'm not actually sure, and I would love to do a bit of research on that, because it is quite an interesting concept that one could take all the way through. If you look at the pad of a predator, it's also quite soft. And I have had an experience. It looks like there's some elephants at Naledi Let's go to Naledi Dam. If we can get ourselves to Naledi. I think those elephants have actually gone straight there that we saw at Cat Eye. Yes, there we can see what I'm talking about. Perfect. Wow, look at that. So look at their feet, especially their front feet, how they splay out at the bottom. Wow, it's a big herd. So now if one had to take a cross section of that foot, it's actually yellow whitish, looks like a sponge, and it's moist. The piece of this fleshy substance. I'm not sure the scientific name of it, but you can see that space in the feet as it splays open. And all of that is really quite sensitive. You see how they're moving together. They're going quite quickly because of that wind. Again, they didn't stop for a long drink there, but that causes a lot of vibration. I think at the moment there's an understanding, or there's a thought, that they actually hear or feel vibrations for further distances than they actually pick up sound. I think that'll also have a lot to do with the environment that they're in. You know, if it's a rocky environment, may not travel as far as a sandy environment. But definitely a great topic. And I mentioned a book on, I think, last week's show called Silent Thunder. Really interesting read on the initial seeds to start to understand elephants' communication. Hi, Don Lee. Thanks for squeezing in a peek at the show from work. Sorry that the times don't suit you at the moment. We're just trying different times, and we'll keep you posted if we change them. There's time zones and people watching from all over the world, so we might have to just do a show all day long. Siko, I'm sorry that you can't hear me clearly. I think it's going out pretty clearly in many other directions. I'll try and speak up. I hope you got some of what I'm saying. There go those elephants over that kopje that I was talking about yesterday, that kopje, that rocky outcrop. But they certainly are on the move. Really quite nice that they actually went from Cat Eye to Naledi. I wonder what happened to that giraffe. Maybe we take a look at some of the photographs before we end the show, some of the snapshots that all of you have taken over the last couple of days. Okay. Yeah, let's have a look. There's been some lion activity at Tembe. David, you managed to get a great snapshot. We'll get it across to the screen shortly. A beautiful lioness. The Tembe Pride has been back around the waterhole. It's great condition, still doing really well, lots to eat. You can see this is the one of the main Pride females. She's got the radio collar on. And as we've discussed, those collars have to do with monitoring their movements, especially when they are getting close to or even leaving the Tembe concession and going into farmlands and where people are living. It's really important for the folks at Tembe to find that out as quickly as possible and get the lions back before the conflict between animals and humans becomes a big one. Let's see what else we've got. Yeah, some beautiful shots. Chanel, I think, of two elephant bulls at Rosie's. Just a wonderful picture of these two, relatively young, I'd say late 20s, maybe. Beautiful tusks, clean after being in the water. The youngster just nudging the taller fella. Maybe the start of a bit of a sparring match. But just a wonderful photograph taken at Rosie's. There's another great shot, seeing as elephants seem to be a bit of a theme. Beautiful red elephants of Tao. What I really like about this photograph as well is that young elephant bull on the young elephant on the right-hand side, just stretching its trunk out. PJ Spalding, you captured that shot beautifully. And we'll have time for one more shot, again at Rosie's, taken by Big Paulie. This time, a great shot of a tawny eagle. Just a clear, beautiful view of this raptor. Those of you that actually saw it, it carried on to have a wonderful bath, giving us a perfect view. Lucy, thanks very much for watching, and thanks for your suggestion. But we will be recording the shows and putting them up on Africam, where you'll be able to go back into the shows, the ones that you've missed. So we'll get that one covered. Let us know which ones you'd like us to put up first. Folks, thanks so much for joining me today for the show, The Hide. One more beautiful sunset shot as we finish the show by Alison from Ancora. Just another great example of what we get to see on Africam. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks so much for all your questions. And yeah, as we go, we might change the times. For now, we'll keep them as they are, Donnelly, but we might do more as the environment that we look at is ever changing and moving, developing. If you have any more suggestions, keep them coming. You can send some emails to info@africam. Always wonderful to engage with you, the viewer. And I look forward to catching up with you next week again. As usual, keep watching the cameras. You never know what you're going to see. Keep taking those snapshots. I love going through them. And we'll catch up with you on the show next week. Folks, have a great day further. Donnelly, you better get back to work.